Hi, it's Al here, and today I'm going to show you around 3 variations of CamelBak's long-standing mule backpack. We've got 3 varieties to show you, which will suit every kind of trail rider. We will also show you what we would pack for a trail ride and how we would pack it. The M.U.L.E has been a mainstay of the range for years. It's an absolute classic and it has stood the test of time. Today's M.U.L.E is highly evolved and there are variations for everything from commuting to big days out on an e-enduro bike over demanding terrain. We'll start with the M.U.L E 12 litre, which is the standard pack aimed at trail riders. Well, we say standard, but it's got loads of features. As you would expect, this pack's got 12 litre capacity and it's got space for everything you would need for a big day out on the trails. This pack is constructed from recycled materials and using safer chemicals, which helps to preserve resources. Most importantly, the pack is built to last, and that really helps its eco-credentials. Included with the bag is CamelBak's latest 3 litre reservoir, which is more user-friendly than ever. You can see the new shut-off valve here, the new bite valve here, and the new reservoir cap right here. The new reservoir delivers 20% more water per sip, and HydroGuard technology inside the reservoir helps keep any bacterial nasties at bay. Whilst wearing the pack, the delivery tube can be secured using CamelBak's magnetic tube trap, like so. Love that feature. As with all M.U.L E models, this pack comes complete with CamelBak's air support feature. This maximises airflow and helps prevent you from getting a sweaty back and from overheating. The storage options on offer here are immense. There's pockets everywhere. You've got this tool organiser here, which helps to keep everything exactly where you want it. You've got a large main pocket here, and you've got a fleece line pocket here, which helps to keep valuables such as your phone nice and safe. There's even additional storage on the outside here for stashing bulky items such as a jacket or some layers that you've taken off as you've heated up on the ride. To secure the pack, CamelBak use this really neat sternum strap and this removable stability belt. Together helps to keep the pack really stable on your back. If that's not enough, then the M.U.L E 12 litre also comes in a variety of colours and different designs to suit male and female physique. The M.U.L E 12 litre retails for £120. The next pack that we're looking at is the M.U.L E Evo 12 litre. The Evo has very similar features to the standard M.U.L, but it adds all-weather protection. With its welded construction, the Evo is aimed at riders who never let the weather get in their way. The pocket layout of the Evo is slightly simplified to take in the all-weather construction, but you still get that same 12 litres of capacity. So there's loads of room in there. You've got your pocket here, fleece lined for your valuables, and you've still got the tool organiser here that featured on the standard M.U.L. In addition, the Evo comes equipped with CamelBak's command centre harness. So this utilises 2 chest straps, and there's also additional pockets here in the straps. To keep the hose secure, the delivery tube clips into place using these 2 clips on the command centre harness. Keeps everything nice and secure. The Evo comes in 1 style and 1 colour and retails for £140. If the aforementioned big days out on your e-bike over adventurous terrain is more your thing, then the M.U.L Pro 14 litre will be right up your alley. This pack's extra 2 litre capacity means it can swallow a spare e-bike battery, giving you extra scope to find more challenging terrain. Whilst you're there, you'll be glad to know that you can slide in the optionally available impact back protection right here in the back of the pack. As with all the M.U.L.s, the Pro's got loads of storage options. On top of loads of space, it's got its own tool roll, got pockets here, there and everywhere, including this cool deep pocket in the side, and it's also got pockets on the waist strap for easy access to small items. Like the Evo, the Pro version of the M.U.L retails at £140 and it comes in two colourways, black and agave green. So as you can see, there really is a mule out there for every kind of trail rider. So now we've shown you the packs, let's see what we would recommend putting in them and how to pack it. What we're going to do now is just run you through the individual items that we would recommend that you pack with you on a trail ride. You can take more, you can take less, but to be fair, what we're going to show you doesn't take up a huge amount of room, so we'd recommend sticking with it as a minimum. So the first thing we're going to think about is what could go wrong with your bike. And the main thing that you're going to need to fix stuff that goes wrong with your bike is going to be a multi-tool. It's the best way of carrying a lot of tools with you in a compact way. So this tool that we've got here has a built-in chain tool. You definitely want a chain tool with you when you're on a ride. It's nice if it can be built in, but you can also get small ones that you could have separately. Another important thing with your multi-tool is to make sure that it's got all the necessary tools to work on your bike, because some bikes are different. Some have got different sized Allen keys and what have you, Torx keys. So have a look at your bike, have a look at your multi-tool, make sure that they match up. If you're on a longer ride or you're particularly accident prone, then you could consider taking a multi-tool that's based around some pliers. Now, I'd recommend this in addition to your cycle specific multi-tool, but a pair of pliers can get you out of an awful lot of trouble. One thing that can happen in a crash is that you bend your mech hanger. Now, if you've got your pliers, you might be able to straighten it, but it's not always possible. Sometimes they snap. So it's really good to have a spare mech hanger in your pack. Make sure it's the right one for your bike. If you've got more than one bike, you might want to chuck them both in the pack to make sure you're never caught short. Now, we talked just now about having a chain tool. One important thing to have for repairing a chain as well is some spare chain links or chain pin if you're running a Shimano chain. They're tiny, it's always good to have around. Probably the most common problem we're all going to have with our bikes is getting a puncture. Whether you run tubeless or not, it can happen. So the main thing that you want to have is a way of inflating your tyre. Now, if you're on a short ride, you might just get away with a CO2 inflator like this. It's very compact, doesn't take up much room. If you do use one of these and you do run tubeless, be careful of blasting the CO2 directly at the sealant because it can cause it to solidify. So it's a good idea to rotate the wheel so the valve's at the top, the sealant pulls at the bottom, and then you won't be blasting the CO2 at it. These are really handy, but you can't beat a trusty pump. This will always work, you won't run out of cartridges, so it's always the best option. If you are running tubeless, it's always a good idea to carry some tubeless plugs and a little tool. So you've got these little anchovies and a little tool to push through the tyre. That'll seal up your tyre and you'll be able to re-inflate it and get riding again. That'll fix most of the issues that you get unless you manage to rip the tyre open. Now, if you do rip the tyre open, then you're going to want to have an inner tube. So if it's not fixed by the sealant or you can't fix it with a plug, you're going to have to put a tube in. Same if you are running tubes, then if it's punctured and you can't be bothered to fix it or the tube's torn, then you're going to need to put a new one in. So you need to carry at least one spare tube, regardless of whether you're running tubes or tubeless. If you do cut your tyre, you're going to need to fix that cut somehow. So when you do fit a tube, it doesn't herniate through the big cut in the tyre. You might be able to fix it with a bit of a bodge like an energy gel wrapper or something like that, or you can use a tyre boot. So this is self-adhesive, sticks inside of the tyre and helps to keep that tube in place. If you do get enough punctures that you run out of tubes, then you're going to need to fix one of your tubes. So you could use a regular puncture repair kit, a traditional one with glue and patches, or you could use glueless patches like these. Some people don't get along with them, but whatever works best for you. A lot of tyres you can remove from the rim very easily using your hands with the right technique, but if you've got a particularly stubborn tyre and rim combination, you're probably going to need some tyre levers. Now, this multi-tool has got a tyre lever built in, or you can carry separate tyre levers. Choice is yours. Now, for the most part, that's everything that you're going to need to fix your bike. Now, what you also need to think about is yourself. So there's a few things that you're going to want to bring along to keep yourself working as you should and to patch yourself up when things go wrong. The primary thing that you're going to need, unless it's the shortest of short rides, is you're going to need some water. Now, as a rough benchmark, you want at least 500 ml of water per hour of cycling. If you're riding further or it's particularly hot, you're going to want more. If it's cold, you might get away with a bit less. You don't always need to take food with you on a ride, especially if it's a shorter ride or you're managing to fit in a cafe or a pub stop or something like that. But it's always a good idea to have some kind of emergency food in your pack. So if you do find yourself low on energy and having a bit of a tough time, you've got something that you can snack on to get your energy levels back up and get you going again. Now, you might not need spare clothing on every ride, but it is nice to have it, especially if things go wrong. So if it starts raining or you have an accident or it turns particularly cold, you're going to want some extra layers, maybe a waterproof jacket that packs up nice and small that you can keep in your pack for an emergency. As we all know, if you ride mountain bikes, you're going to end up falling off at some point and you might hurt yourself, or one of your riding mates might. So it's a really good idea that at least one of you on your rides takes a first aid kit with you. I always bring one myself. Doesn't need to be very big, doesn't need to be massively comprehensive, but as long as you've got the basics, it's a really, really good idea. In this first aid kit, we've also got an emergency blanket. So if things go really wrong and you're stuck by the side of the trail, it's another thing to help keep the victim warm. Also got some painkillers for headaches and just general stuff, and some indigestion tablets as well. There's a few other general things that you want to take out on a ride with you. Needn't take up a lot of room, but can get you out of a lot of trouble. One thing I like to take is folded up note, 5, 10, 20 quid, especially now they're waterproof. You can fold it up nice and small, stash it in your puncture repair kit, and it's there in an emergency. Your phone. It can help you to navigate, and obviously it can call for help. So always good to have around. Take some photos of your riding buddies. Always pack your phone. There's some other things that you can take that needn't take up a lot of room in your bag. So for instance, tape. You've got some good strong tape, like this fabric tape or a gaffer tape. You can wrap it around your pump and you can use it in an emergency situation to stick things back together. It's amazing what you can fix with a zip tie. So why not chuck a few in your bag? You can hold them together with a bit of tape. You've got a bit of spare electrical tape to bodge things as well. You never know when you might get caught out, especially in winter. If you get a mechanical and you end up stuck, it takes you a longer time to get home than you expected. It's nice to have some backup lights. These don't take up a lot of room in your pack. Just make sure they're charged, chuck them in your pack. Job's a good one. When it comes to packing your bag, it's not rocket science, but it's a good idea to follow a few rules. So first thing you want to do is make sure that all the heavy stuff is right down low in your bag. Good thing about a CamelBak is you've got that water down low. It always sits down low, and that helps to make your bag much more stable. You don't want that weight up high because it'll be swinging around on your back whilst you're riding your bike. Next, you want to think about things that you don't use very often. Things like, hopefully, your waterproof, your first aid kit. You can stash them down into the dark recesses of your bag, and then you know they're there if you need them in an emergency, but it's not the kind of thing that you need super frequently. For things that you do need frequently, you want to try and put them in the same place. Then you'll know exactly where they are every time you come to use them. So work out what pocket you want to put your multi-tool, let's say, in. You might need that fairly frequently. There's always someone on the ride who wants to adjust something or other. So put that in a pocket where you know where it is. Your phone, you might be grabbing that fairly frequently. So give that a designated place as well. Obviously in this CamelBak M.U.L.E, it's got that nice fleece lined pocket. If you've got multiple items that always get used together, it's a good idea to lash them together. So here we've got a CO2 canister and a CO2 inflator, both lashed together with a bit of electrical tape. Keeps everything together so you're not scrabbling around in your bag trying to find them. Stops them rattling, and it also gives you a bonus bit of electrical tape if you need it to get you out of some trouble. So that's it. We hope that you found the video useful. If you've got any top tips for how you pack your bag and stash your gear in your pack, please let us know in the comments below. If you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up, please subscribe, and we'll hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. See ya.